just don't care. The disrespect. Dang. So it's scary. I didn't beg for an apology. Why are you such a whore? Tell me what you do on a Sunday. Hey, it's Faye. Welcome back. Today we are doing a Q&A. Happy Thanksgiving, by the way, if you're watching this. Listen, Linda, I don't know why this has been the most consistent question I've gotten throughout this year. Have you ever thought about getting a breast reduction? The answer is yes. When I was a lot heavier in my 160s, I highly considered it because my back was aching. I have lost close to like 35-ish pounds. Technically, I got my breast reduction and my back doesn't do as much labor as it did prior carrying these suckers. Do you feel like you've missed the boat with kids and marriage? Okay, as women, we have a biological clock that's ticking and we're wired to live our life through a checklist, timeline. By this age, I should have that. By that age, I should be there. I say fuck it. Everyone has their own path that's unfolding as it's supposed to. Yes, there's complications as you age if you want to start a family. But again, I believe that everything unfolds as it should and I release control. I find more peace knowing I'm exactly where I need to be right now. And when it comes, I receive. If you could go back in time and tell your younger self something, what would you say and why? To my inner child, you will always have me. To my teenager self, speak up, advocate for yourself. And then to my 20s, it is not your responsibility to manage people's emotions and reactions because you can't fix people. Oh, and you're more than enough and you're the coolest person I know. Like, I was cool back then. Honestly, my early to mid-20s, the opportunities that I earned, I should be really proud of myself. And not a lot of people get to say they did all that. Has losing weight changed your perspective on anything? I wouldn't say my perspective, but I will firmly say that weight loss is not a source of happiness. Kind of cliche, but I'm at the lowest weight I've been since college, yet I'm the most broken version of me. I mean, I look good. But I've never felt so broken. So yeah, if anything, weight means nothing. Just like material things or money, like all of that, at the end of the day, it means nothing if you're not okay. Who has been your biggest supporter throughout your journey? My sister for sure, and me, myself, and I. And the Detroit Lions. The only thing that gets me through every day are those boys. I love them so much. I want that kind of brotherhood, you know? Is there a deadline to purchase a spot on your trip? Okay, perfect timing to address all the negative feedback, the concerns, questions about the trip I planned for us to go to South Korea. Deadline is April, I believe. Okay, so the pricing of the South Korea trip has raised some concerns, and I like to just take a moment to clarify some misunderstandings. So prior to the trip itself, I shared a survey to find out where you guys would like to travel and what your budget was like. I had an overwhelming response with Korea as the top picked country, and based on the data, the budget aligned with the input that we received as well. So that's how location and budget came to be. Honestly, I wouldn't ask you guys to join this trip if I didn't think that this was truly worth it. I understand it's overwhelming because flights aren't included, and I totally hear you. In the future, I would love to plan a trip with budget as a priority versus experience and location. I think overall it's just good to keep in mind that a trip to Korea naturally is just going to be more expensive compared to like a trip to Thailand. Trova Trip and I are offering a coupon code for flights for Travel Tuesday this upcoming December 3rd and 4th, in addition to the early bird booking price for the trip. Take advantage of the code and use it to save some money on the flight. Let's break down the payment. So this is how it works for everyone. 25% is required as a down payment to secure your spot. That just ensures that no one else is going to take it. Your spot is yours. The rest of the payment is not required until 90 days before the trip. So from now until then, you can break up your payments in installments if you want. That's what I would recommend instead of a lump sum at the end. Again, totally up to you, your pick of choice. I think payment plans are available through Affirm, but if that option is not available to you, I would set up my own monthly payment plan until the 90 days. Another set of concerns is, how do I get from the airport to the hotel? There are many types of transportation, and if you don't know how to like navigate that, this is coming from someone who does this every time. I go to the help desk. It has a big lighted up cubicle question mark floating on top of the desk, and usually they'll tell you directly like which bus to go to. Or my personal favorite, I literally just go outside to a taxi and I show them the address on my phone and I'm like, let's go. That's it, just like anywhere else. And I think that night we have a welcome party dinner, and it's none than the other Korean barbecue. and soju. Again, I want to highlight that yes, you can totally figure out a cheaper travel to Korea. Even though in my cases, I spent around the same, if not more, on my trips with my friends. However, the trip I planned offers value in a different way, and that's okay. I love the convenience of traveling to a foreign country and not having to worry, because traveling somewhere without language is hard and scary. That's the beauty of this trip in my opinion. This isn't just any trip, it's community. It's traveling with my people and no hassle. I wouldn't vet this trip if it weren't for a personal close friend of mine who's already successfully done this and heard nothing but positive feedback from her travelers. In addition, having a tour guide is so underrated. They literally handle everything for us and they are dedicated to our time, and that just enriches the excursion. It's like letting loose, having fun, no responsibilities, and then someone's like, okay girls, get it together. Rally, let's go to dinner. And let me tell you, my first time to Korea was through tourism travel as well, and I till this day am still close friends to my tour guides. Every time I'm in Korea, I literally hang out with them. So yes, having a tour guide is so underrated. Traveling by yourself versus a group of friends is vastly unique and just so different. I understand it's not for everyone. It's just a different way to travel. So yeah, I'm excited to meet those who already secured their spot. Anyone at any age from anywhere in the world can join this trip, so it's not limited. So if you're thinking about traveling and there's this opportunity to do it together, I say go for it. Secure a spot, get that early bird deal, and use the coupon code to save on a flight. The code is first come first serve. Also another perfect spot for kimchi jjigae that I cannot wait to take you guys on our downtime. It's delicious. I'm having trouble eating and exercising on a GLP-1 med. It's so normal to feel that slow burn in the earlier stages. Everyone says focus on protein, which I agree, but also don't limit yourself, because I allow myself carbs and nudes all the time. I think it's more about being in tune with your mind and body, so you know when to stop when you're satiated versus balls to the wall. Because I'm on GLP-1, I can eat anything I want. It takes time to adjust. I too in the beginning was like, well. In terms of exercising, start slow with 5,000 steps a day and work your way up to 10,000 steps. Simply walking after you eat is the most beneficial time to get a walk in, especially if you don't feel enthusiastic to exercise. When you walk promptly after eating versus waiting that like 30 minutes, it helps aid your digestion more efficiently, it helps your blood sugar levels, and enhances your metabolism. That's what studies say. Start small and celebrate all the wins, even those tiny ones. How are you coping being by yourself in your house? I find it to be a positive adjustment overall. Despite of the hurt, I know that this phase of my life is helping me heal a deeper part of myself, even when I don't believe it. And I know that I'll cherish this part of my life one day when I reflect back. I try to remind myself how imperative it is for adults to journey through a season of aloneness. And I know that it's like a necessary part of growing and becoming. So I try to seek this as an opportunity to rediscover myself as a 30-year-old woman through the quietness and loneliness. I'll be honest though, as empowering as that sounds, it's fucking heartbreaking. I'm aware that I've become more depressed, and the loneliness is altering who I am. It becomes like a little bit frightening because you become so used to shouldering everything in silence. And I just hate feeling burdensome to others, and I've always already felt that, so now it's even more pronounced. I think it's scary in the sense that I feel a little dark holding everything by myself and not being able to take up space or not having anyone there for you anymore, which I know is false because I have so many people who love me and want to be there for me, but I just don't like to take up space. And the one person I thought I could take up space is no longer there. So I think that's the downside of coping and living on your own is being depressed. I think also it's like my first time ever really experiencing this kind of space in my head. So it's scary because sometimes you just don't care that you're stuck there. Usually I'm really good at not being stuck there, but then nowadays I just feel like I don't have the energy or the care to like pull myself out of that place. And so being in an environment that you are so isolated, it just kind of enhances those feelings, I guess. But don't worry, I think this is completely natural. I just have to work harder at pulling myself out of these times. It's just really hard. What advice would you give to late bloomers dating adulting in your 20s? The best advice I can give you as a young adult or an adult in your 20s, when it feels scary to jump, that's exactly when you jump. Otherwise, you get stuck in a place for too long. If it's anything I want to instill in younger adults, is self-belief. Like honestly, I had so much of that in my 20s, and I think that's why it propelled me in my career. You're so old, I'm so wise. I'm over here broken, so maybe don't take my advice. Also, I read something that has stuck to me for a while now, and I hope it helps at least one person. I'm no longer shrinking to be digestible. You can choke respectfully. This is a promise to myself, more like a threat. Don't dim your light ever for anyone, and you can apply that however you want, but in my case, like, I'm still trying to find my sparkle. And in terms of dating, I say have fun, use it as a tool, a tool to explore what you want. You're in your 20s, you're so young, don't rush. If you have a great time, amazing. It might nurture into something real. Who knows? If it goes horribly wrong, fantastic. You're learning your tolerance in whatever area that is, and sooner or later that's gonna turn into wisdom that becomes a testament of your own core beliefs and values and ideals and what you want and need. Why are you such a whore? I don't know. How do you work through your past trauma? I'm trying to work through my own. I only feel confident speaking about traumas caused by parental figures, so take this as a grain of salt. Forgiveness. It is not for the weak. People don't understand how difficult it is to actively make a conscious decision of releasing decades of resentment that has cemented in your body over time. Not just your heart and mind, your body. Remembering that it's my mom's first time as a human too. The trauma and losses that she's faced in her life, that's all she knew, and sadly, those are the consequences that my siblings and I had to reap by default. And I feel horrible sometimes because as much as I put blame on my mom for all my abandonment traumas, in actuality, my dad's death was my first encounter that I was exposed to. So I should blame my dad more for dying. I'm still working through it, but last summer was the first time I sincerely and like most genuinely forgave my mom without her knowing. I didn't beg for an apology. There was no extensive conversation we had. I just gave it to myself. And sometimes really healing is freeing yourself in silence and solitude. Healing is forgiving them without their recognition. Healing is pledging to the little you, the child within you. Carrying the weight of their actions only keep you bounded to the pain that they rooted. So in the end, forgiveness isn't about them, it's about you. Will there be any Vlogmas? Yes, on my Patreon. I'm not in the holiday mood, which I hate myself for that because typically around this time, it's super healing for me because I feel connected to my dad, but everything feels so ruined. I feel hatred, I feel anger. So I thought vlogging every day until Christmas might reconfigure my holiday mood, and maybe it'll help me let go of the pissed offness I feel. Also, my Patreon has a discount code for the month of December for Vlogmas purposes, so go get it. Any emotional or mental breakdowns this year? TMI, sorry. Don't be sorry. Did you get uneven or saggy boobs from the weight loss? How are you handling it? I feel saggy. I think that's just innate if you have bigger chesticles growing up anyway. All females have uneven boobies. Ask any girl right now, they're gonna say, yep, Glinda is smaller than Alfie, for sure. I do think it's more noticeable as I'm aging, but that's natural, so it's fine. I love Coco and Momo. And I will say, when I see myself bare now, I'm like, dang, toss. I still got it. Listen, Linda, I appreciate how my tatas look with the curves on my body. I even find my belly and my rolls a little cute now. Adds a little personality to her, you know? What advice would you give younger Faye knowing what you know now about relationships? Stop choosing what isn't choosing you. The most painful thing is losing yourself and loving someone too much that you forget you're special too. Remember that loving someone is a choice, and let that be the disrespect. You need to move on. If it's really yours, it'll find its way back. In order for that to happen, you have to release control and let it go. Have you thought about changing your content all the time, girl? I will like to defend myself here though. I've been enjoying my hauls recently in this journey of self and becoming. I am embracing and learning to fall in love with my body again. So I'm trying to remind myself, when am I gonna ever look this hot again? You know? Yeah, so I enjoy dressing myself up, and if it helps just one person, I hope they're inspired. I'm not opposed to new content though, you just have to help me uncover that. I do want to be a mommy vlogger one day, so if you have a friend or an uncle, yeah, help me with that new content. I'm kidding. I am in no shape or form ready to be scarred again. Jump scare. Boo, flip of a dime. Okay, we gotta wrap this up because my camera is burning hot, so maybe we'll do a part 2 one day. What's a quote that gets you through the day? There's many, multiple, although they don't stick long since, you know, depresso. Maybe the journey isn't so much about becoming anything. Maybe it's about unbecoming everything that isn't really you, so you can be who you were meant to be in the first place. Life is just so cute. Check out my Patreon, book your flight to Korea. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Tell me what you do on a Sunday. I'm tired of all these